All right, here we are. We're in Module 4 now. We've got the same database that we've been playing with along the way. And it's not a fully functional database. It's just a conceptual looking at how to access and use these tools. As you go through those exercises that I've got for you, you'll refine what we're talking about and apply it more. So we've got tables. We've got a simple query that we created. And we've got a couple of things we're going to play with in this module that hit on to a degree, but we haven't really done them yet. So let's say I want to create a form for this faculty table. I want to allow somebody the ability to add a faculty member to this faculty table. Now, keep in mind, we don't have very many fields in these tables, so there's not going to be a lot to play with. But I want you to get used to the how we go about and what we go about, the different options here. So I've got focus on faculty. I click form, and that will automatically generate a fully complete form for that faculty table. Boom, there it is. There's the faculty form. Faculty ID, name, and then here if I want to go create or add a new section associated with this faculty member. Okay. So at this point, this faculty member could potentially have an association with section and course. But at this point, it doesn't. So there we go. And the relationships, since I've created them, you see how it populated down here. So I can see the related data that's associated with that faculty ID. Now, that's just the bare bones. Here's a generic form. And I can go through and modify this thing if I want and look at the different views. There's layout view, form view, and design view. Design view is when we want to work with something and redesign it. Okay. So here's that relationship that we talked about. If I wanted to get rid of it, I'll just click on it and delete it, make it go away. It's an option. What we're going to do now is let's come over and look at student. And we're going to create a student form, but not the way we just did it, because I don't want to have to deal with that stuff down below. Let's do it in form design. And in form design, now here I can come drag and drop different controls onto my form. And I've got text box, I've got a label, I've got buttons. There's so many things that I've got. I can do a drop down. There's control wizards that I can put in here. So with this, I've got to be really comfortable with building a form to build it in design view. I've got exercises set up that'll walk you through conceptually a lot of this. So there's one way we can go about this. I'm going to close it and come back. I've got focus on student still. Create blank form. Now, focus on this thing. I've got nothing here. This is from the ground up creating an actual blank form. And I've got to add in everything about it. The subform, I've got any navigation controls, anything that I need. I've got to do everything from scratch on this. Okay? So that may be or may not be what you want to do depending on what it is you want to create. So as we create these forms, I try to keep things as simple as I can when it's creating the forms. I got my faculty form. Yeah, I want to save it. I want to call it faculty form, faculty query, and there's our forms. It's a way to populate the tables. Now, remember what that query did. A query is a question that we ask of the data. We're asking a question of the data. So give me some information. Tell me whatever it may be. And this faculty query, if we run it, it tells us, looking in design view, all the faculty. Well, I don't want to limit it to just H. Run it, same way. Good. We'll go ahead and save that. Yes, save it. And what I want to do is I want to go into this faculty form and I want to create a new one. First name. Call him Brent Ferns. So now I've got another faculty member. And when I run my query, it gives me 2 faculty members. Okay. Now, when I'm not using something, I close it, put it away. Think about it like the orange juice in the refrigerator. If you're not pouring a glass of orange juice, close it up, put it back in the refrigerator, and close the door. That way, when I need it, it's there and in the form that it's supposed to be so that I can actually use it. When we leave things open, they're subject to being corrupted. So I don't want to let anything bad happen to my data or my forms or my queries. So when I'm done with them, I close them up, save them, put them away. Now, they're saved and they are permanently saved once I close them. So that when I close the database is just a shell for these other objects. Once I've closed these objects, they're saved. The shell itself, when I close it, it's not really saving anything. It's just closing that doorway into these objects, if you will. So let's go look at, based on this query, I want to create a report. There's my report. It listed out the results of that query, or what that query would look like in datasheet view. I wonder what's going on here and what we got going on. Let's go look at this thing in design view. Count. Oh, there we go. It's actually counting the number, and I'm stretching out so I can see it a little better. It's counting the number of records that we have. Let's go look at it in report view again. There we go. So there are 2 faculty members. This is page 1 of 1. The date and time that this query was run. I can say faculty report, and I can modify that just by going in there in design view. Call it faculty report. Right click it. Let's go look at it in report view. Faculty report. So the things that I want to see are there. And I can modify it in report view. I can modify it in design view. I can modify it in layout view. I want to see what it looks like if we're going to print it out. There it is. So we can modify this thing. There's so many things we can do to play with or tweak this report. This report, just like the queries, can be derived from different things. But I generally create reports based on the results of a query. So I would have a query that tells me all the faculty members. In a previous video, I mentioned students, and I would create a student roster. That's a report. based on a query. That query was select all students from this table where section number is equivalent to whatever it may be, and display pictures and names and everything. Boom, there's the report. So these are the things that we can do when we run the queries. Those queries are not necessarily pretty, and a lot of times you have to take this information that you've derived from this database and deliver or present it to somebody else that you don't want to have access to the data. I may not want them ever touching my data, but they need to have answers that are derived from it. Reports are how we go about that. So we created that faculty report. Done with it, I close it. Now I could create one in design or blank report. I don't need to go through and open these up again because conceptually we just went through this here. Form design, blank form. The thing that we didn't do was go through form wizard, which is very similar to our query wizard that asked us questions and we just answered them. Report wizard, it'll ask us questions and we answer the questions, and it builds it based on our responses to the little questions that it asks us along the way. So I could say, here, just give me a report on the faculty query. Boom, there's your report. Or I could go step by step building. Or if I want to get real creative, and I have to have that skill and creativity to be able to use these two options, but that's what the exercises are for that I've got you doing in this module, is getting used to doing that. You'll have that ability to go through and create using report design and a blank report, blank form and a form design. Traditionally, you're going to go either just a cookie cutter form, cookie cutter report, or use form wizard or report wizard. Okay? So for the most part, that's module 4. If you run into questions and concerns, reach out to me, reach out to others. That assignment support form is there for you every module. Should you have any questions, concerns, problem with the lab, whatever it may be. Okay? So I'll see you in the next module. Keep up the good work.